What's going on, y'all? Just before I get started, let me just sip my little red ale here. That's some good beer. Hey, if y'all want to, man, pause this video, go pour yourself a beer, pour yourself a drink, pack a bowl, pack a bong, rack up a line, do what you gotta do. And I got an email from a gentleman. His name is Ryan. And let's see here, blah, 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 blah. He basically wants me to talk about controlling your own destiny. He wants to see what I have to say about it. So I'm just going to kind of skim through the email here. Blah, 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 blah. He said it feels good as a human to be able to control your own destiny, or at least think you have some kind of control. This could mean for business, career, lifestyle, life, or whatever. Being able to control your own destiny is maybe the most fulfilling experience a human can achieve in a lifetime. Let's see what else. And you know, I kind of asked him to specify a bit, and he did. He said, I'll try to give you an idea of my own thoughts on it. He says, I mean, for myself, I'm still only 23, but have been self-employed for the last 3 years, and man, it's fucking tough. A lot of downs, money isn't as stable or easy to come across. And I ask myself a lot of times, why the fuck do I put myself in such tough, hard situations? Do I hate myself? Etc., etc. Why don't I just get a job? He says, nah, man, I really think that deep down it's because I'm chasing that feeling of being able to make my own living on my own terms. Not necessarily because I want to be my own boss or whatever, but because I want to be free. I want to live life on my own terms. I feel like I can control my own destiny, blah, 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 blah. I'm not one of those fuck getting a job, fuck the 9 to 5 kind of guys. Blah, 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 blah. And he says that if you even do have a job and work for the man, you can still do it on your own terms, which is very true, man. Working for your own goals, blah, 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 blah. And he just goes on to say that, you know, he'd like to hear my thoughts on it, and blah, 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 wishing me safe travels. Well, thanks, Ryan, man. In all seriousness, dude, I do appreciate the email, sir. And I actually can relate a lot to what you're saying. Now, first of all, sir, you said, why do you put yourself through all this? Now, you said you're 23, and for the last 3 years, you've been self-employed. Let me just stop you right there, partner. Dude, so when you're 20 years old, you started working for yourself. Do you understand how rare that is? And I mean that in a good way. Do you understand that most 20-year-old people, at least where I'm from, are either still in school, they're making shit money at some shit job, or they're fucking partying and fucking off all the time. It is very rare for a 20-year-old man or woman to start working for themselves and making their own money on their own terms. Now, starting a business and being self-employed, being an entrepreneur is not necessarily easy. And if it was, then more people would do it. Starting your own business and working on your own is tough. Right? Because most people dream of having their own business. They dream of having their own empire. But it's hard to do. Because you have to make it happen. You can't depend on some other motherfucker to make your wishes come true and to help promote your business. Or a lot of times, especially if you're 20 years old, you hardly have any life experience. So you have to learn things the hard way. Which in the long run I think is best, because you learn from scratch. Like, you learn for real, like, what are the right and wrong things to do in business, man. So you're 23, you've been self-employed for 3 years, and yeah, you're gonna have a lot of ups and downs, man. And I think it is worth it. I think that in the next few years, it's gonna all pay off for you, as long as you don't fuck it up and do anything stupid. Now let's talk about working for the man. I can give you guys a pretty good example. I mean, several good examples. So I know I talk about going to Cambodia a lot, but that point in my life was a big milestone for me, because that was the first time in my life that I really took my destiny into my own hands, as Ryan puts it. So back in 2013 and 14 and all that, I was a truck driver for a door company. I was actually here in Alexandria, Virginia, and I did that job for 2 years. And I was actually engaged at the time. And every morning I woke up at 4:30 a.m. and I would go deliver door parts and doors and door frames and all this fucking random shit to, like the local area. And I realized that I could be doing better. I just realized that because a lot of my coworkers, they'd come in on Monday morning and they'd show me on their phone, they'd show me these new pair of shoes they got, they'd show me a new shotgun they bought, or just stupid clothes, and they'd always have, and I realized that the people I work with were kind of dumb, and that they spent all their money, and like we made the same amount of money, but they would go out and blow all their paychecks on this fucking frivolous bullshit that was not going to get them anywhere. And I knew that I wanted something better. I didn't know what exactly, but I knew that I didn't want to have that kind of life, working the 9 to 5, like this manual labor type shit with all these like ne'er-do-well type people. So what I decided to do was buy a lawnmower, buy a weed eater, and other landscaping equipment, and I started my own landscaping business on the side. I did it all by myself, and I took the money I had saved up from my truck driving job to buy a pickup truck. So what I did is I started a little lawn mowing business on the side. So what I would do is I would drive trucks from about 6 a.m. to around 3 p.m. and then I would have different houses in the area that I went to, and I would mow lawns, I would do weed eating, I would, and I would do junk removal as well because I had a pickup truck. And it turned out within a few weeks I was making just as much money from my side job as I was at my day job. So I was making double the income. Had I not taken that into my own hands, I would have never, ever gone to Cambodia. I would not start making these videos. I would not have the kind of life I have now. And I did that because I wanted to take my destiny into my own hands. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. Now, is it always in your control? I think for the most part, yes, it is. Like that kind of comes down to like, do you believe in fate or not? I don't know if I believe in fate or not, man. But I will say that I believe in what's called personal ownership, personal responsibility. And a lot of people don't seem to have that. There's a lot of people out there that say, "Oh man, I just can't get a break, man. I just can't get a break, man. The world's out to get me, man." And these are the same type of people that complain. These are the same type of people where when they're bored and they're not making any money, they're bitching about how they want to make money and how they want to be busy. And then when they're busy and making money, they're bitching about how busy they are and they just want to do nothing. These are the same type of people that when it's summertime and it's hot, they complain about how fucking hot it is and how they want it to cool down. And then when it cools down and gets cold, they're bitching about how fucking cold it is and how they want it to warm up. They're bitching all the time. These people are negative. You need to get them out of your life. Don't be friends with these type of people. I'd rather have no friends than motherfucking friends like that, and that's a fact. That's a fact. So, I believe in personal ownership. I believe that most mistakes made, most of people's downfalls, usually their fault. I can admit that any time in my life that I've been down in the dumps, it's been my fault. Like, for example, exactly 1 year ago, I was living up in Maine, and I was abusing drugs heavily. I weighed 155 pounds. Now I'm 205 pounds. 1 year ago, I was 50 pounds lighter. I wasn't eating. I was doing Adderall almost every day. I was eating Valiums like fucking candy. I was stealing OxyContin and hydrocodone from a woman, a transgender woman, in fact, that I used to take care of. And addiction and all that stuff is not a disease. Addiction, in my opinion, is a choice. A disease is something that you have no control over. That's a fucking cop-out. Like when people say that they're alcoholics and it's a disease, or I'm addicted to drugs, I have a disease. No, you're making bad choices. I've abused drugs several times, and every time I've overcome it, and I've made the choice to get off the dope. And yeah, it sucks for a couple of weeks, but I always got through it. Addiction is not a disease, it's a fucking choice. And it's a bad choice too. That's such a cop-out, and these are people that don't have personal responsibility. I know I'm ranting right now, but I think that this all relates to what this guy emailed to me, man. So if anybody's out there, and your life is not going the way you want to, man, maybe you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Maybe it's better to have no friends than bad friends, because these bad friends that are bitching about, they're always complaining about something. Whether things are going good or bad, they're always complaining. You need to get these people out of your fucking life, man. Alright? I know a lot of people out there. I met a lot of people in my past, and I'm not going to say their names. I even have some people in my family I'm not going to say who they are, that I love dearly. But they're not taking matters into their own hands. They're not taking matters into their own hands. And no one out there is just going to hand you success. A lot of times you have to work for it. Now, sometimes, you know, if you're well spoken or maybe you're good looking or whatever, maybe people will be a little bit more they'll be a little bit more apt to want to help you. You know, like if you're overweight and you're fat, people blame it on their thyroid, the fucking thyroid hormones. People blame it on blood pressure or, oh, it's genetic. Okay? That's bullshit. You're fat because you're lazy and you make bad choices. Being fat is a reflection of your personality. It's a fucking reflection of your soul. If you're a fat fuck, no matter who you are, guess what? You're fat because you're lazy and you don't work out and you eat poorly. If you don't have any money and you can't manage to save money, it's because you need to step your game up and you need to find a way to make money. You need to stop smoking weed and pass a fucking drug test so you can get a better paying job and then smoke weed after that. And stop blaming your fucking problems on other people. You know, it's so obvious. Like at my job right now, I'm a waiter. I don't really like my job. Like I'm not I don't just love waiting tables, but I make good money at my job. And most of the people that I work with, when it's slow and dead, they're bitching about how dead it is. When it's busy and we're overwhelmed with fucking work to do, they're bitching about how much work they have to do. And these are the same people that go out every night and they blow all their tip money at a fucking bar, and then they come in the next morning hungover and tired, and they wonder why they have no fucking success. And they wonder why they've been waiting tables for 10 fucking years now. In a month, I'm going to be in Mexico with all the money I've saved up because I don't go out and blow my fucking paycheck on bullshit. I don't bitch when it's slow. I don't bitch when it's busy. I do what the fuck I have to do when I got to do it so I can make shit happen that I want to make happen. And that's what y'all motherfuckers have to do too. And I know only about 2% people watching this video will actually take my advice. But if you want to control your own destiny, it takes sacrifice. Sometimes it's a lonely path. You know, a lot of people are haters. They don't want you to succeed, because if you're succeeding and they're not, then it makes them feel badly about themselves, man. Well, fuck them, dude. You got to do what you got to do to make your dreams happen. And sometimes it fucking requires getting up early when you don't want to. It requires stopping smoking weed so you can pass a drug test. It might require you to not go out drinking at the bar every night, or just whatever it is. You know? Be nervous. Be nervous because you're doing something outside of your comfort zone. Be nervous because you're doing something new and you're taking a big risk, man. I'm a dice roller. I'm a big dice roller. And it's a blessing and a burden. You know? And what I mean by that is taking a risk, taking a chance, rolling the dice. And if you don't roll the fucking dice and you don't take a risk, most likely you're never gonna step up the ladder into who you really want to be, man. So Ryan, I do appreciate the email, sir. I really hope that I made a point in this video. And I know that most people listening right now are not going to amount to much, but I know that some of you, if you can steer the ship right and you can make the sacrifice and go through a few hard times, being successful will happen. And success is a relative thing, of course. You know, my definition of success might be different than most of yours, but that's for me, you know, that's for me to deal with, y'all. So, anyways, guys, I think I made my point here. Ryan, I do appreciate the email, man, and I don't think you're doing anything wrong by working for yourself. And going through ups and downs, man. That's kind of what I like to do in the future, and it's not easy. And like I said, if it was so easy, then everybody would do it. You know, like if being in good shape was easy, then everybody would be in good shape. But a lot of people don't take personal ownership for their own demise. They blame their problems on other people, or they blame it on a thyroid disorder or their family genetics, when really they're just lazy. They're just mentally weak, and that's all it boils down to. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, man, because it's the fucking truth does hurt sometimes. But it's up to you. What you know, like it's up to you if you want to take that pain of the truth and transform it into action, into changing your life, whatever that may be. Anyways, guys, I think I've ranted enough here. My email address, if you guys want to shoot me an email, you have a video idea, anything like that, a problem, you want me to talk about it, something, whatever. I like making videos for y'all. NoJokeStriking@gmail.com, bitches. Facebook.com as well. You guys can like and share my shit on Facebook. Facebook.com/NoJokeHoward. All that will be in the description box below. Thanks again, Ryan. Peace!